How are you? Like, seriously, how are you? Are you overworked? Are you feeling like you're slowly drowning, tapped out? These are like so many descriptions I've heard from friends recently. And it just occurs to me that, what a burden this pandemic is, especially for us, for women. And I wanted to address a few things here too, because it's really becoming a health crisis and a wealth crisis. I read recently that this economy is now being called a she-cession instead of a recession because of how it's impacting women specifically. So there's a couple of things I want to address here. One is definitely business and work, and I'm going to talk about that at the end, but there's a couple of other pieces here first because the health crisis is so huge. Women, we were already being paid less and expected so much of pre-pandemic. Now that we're in the pandemic, we are working full time. We are running a home. We are likely at home with kids who are also in school, and while we may not be their primary teachers, or we may, we're needing to keep school moving along. We're probably also trying to keep our kids off of screens for some amount of time during the day, right? Which takes effort, real effort, let's be honest. Then not to mention, like, if you have a partner, you want to show up and be a good partner and just feel human and be an activist in the world today. There are so many demands. So there's a couple of things that we have control over, a lot of it, even when it feels like we don't. And that's really what I want this conversation to be about today. So I think these are really significant things, and there's room here for more conversation, but let's dive into a few things that I think can make a big difference for you. One is self-care. And I talk about this a lot. A lot of other experts talk about this a lot. That's because it's significant. But I'm going to make it super simple for you, just to squeeze in a little bit of self-care that doesn't really take much time. Number one, go outside and breathe some fresh air every day. Now, if you are in the midst of wildfires, I am so sorry. You'll get your fresh air soon. Breathe fresh air. Move your body. I don't mean start training for a marathon, and if you are, keep going, keep moving your body. I simply mean move your body enough so that you can help let go of some of this stress. You can help your lymphatic system move. You can lubricate your joints. We are being fairly still, probably sitting a lot, whether we're doing work or sitting with our kids or binging TV. There's just more sitting, so lubricate those joints. Movement is significant. And the third thing, and these sound simple, but I'm telling you, the most simple and most powerful things to do. We don't need to overcomplicate this. The third thing is drinking water, really. So about a decade ago, when I did my health coaching certification, it was a year-long program. I learned over 100 dietary theories, how to work with different clients, all of that. At the end, the basic thing that everybody agrees on is you start your client with hydration. No matter where they're coming with their issues, drinking enough water helps everything. So drinking enough water is going to help your mood, it's going to help your brain function better, it's going to help you sleep better, it's going to help stress move through your body better. So a little bit of self-care for you, doesn't take long, just start it. The second piece, and this is also self-care, but it's really around giving yourself grace. So this looks different for everybody. It's kind of a nebulous idea, but giving yourself grace. So grace is when you just feel your body exhale when it had been tightly wound previously. So think about what that is for you in various moments. It might be turning off the news. It might be going for a walk even though you have a full email inbox. It might mean splurging on something. It might mean making a call to somebody and just crying. Like, give yourself grace. Do what it would take to help yourself be less tightly wound and just everything exhale a bit. Okay? Those things will help. They sound simple and they're powerful. Let's dive in to this next piece, which I feel like is critical. The other day, somebody said, I feel like I need to choose. I don't know how to choose between my career or my kids. And that just really hit home. It's a significant comment to make, but it also really reminded me of where I was 13 years ago when I had a brand new baby. I have summer babies, so I had a 3-year-old at home. I went back, I was a teacher, so I would start school, you know, in August when it's time to start school. So I went back when my first child was a week old, and I went, or 2 weeks old, and I went back so when my second child was born in the summer, I had another decision to make. Do I go back to school or do I stay home with my kids? Now, I feel really, really lucky to have my own business. Breaking news coming in that's kind of alarming. I'm really lucky to have my own business, but I want to make something really clear. I don't have my own. It was not out of luck that I was able to start my own business. 13 years ago, when I was having this debate, we were broke. It was a decision of like, do I want to go back to work in the setup that doesn't really work well for us? Or do I want to create something new? And it wasn't luxury or resources that allowed me to make that decision. It was just, I wanted something different and I knew I had some control over it. My husband was a massage therapist, still is a massage therapist. So it wasn't, it's not a high paying job necessarily. There's a lot of overhead, there are things to consider there. So 13 years ago, we sat down, decided what we wanted, and I took the leap. It was scary as hell, but I did it because I believed that there was something really great on the other side of it. It's so much more than luck, but I've learned a lot since that time, and that's a little bit about what I want to share with you, because they're saying that 60% of women say that they are going to pivot in their careers after the pandemic, and already 1 in 4 are starting new businesses. So I think that's brilliant, and it's a really important time to talk about a few specific business considerations that you should, to consider. One is, I'm going to flip this idea on its head of going for your passion. I encourage you instead to look for the big opportunities and see if you find passion in them. So right now, the two biggest industries of growth are health and wellness and publishing. So in those two sectors, can you find any amount of passion there? I'm super passionate about health and wellness. I always have. That's why I'm in the industry. It's a fantastic opportunity. I recently, it was a few months ago, wrote about what to look for in a great business. There's like 6 things that I think are really important to look for, and I want to highlight a couple of those here, but you can go to my blog and look for 6 killer signs of a side hustle, I think is what it's called. But one thing is as you're thinking about different options, consider for yourself, is it short term and low risk? Meaning, can you make money like quickly? Can you see if there's something there for you? And if in like 6 months you decide it's not for you, can you also step out of it without there being a big punishment, a big loss there? Also, growth. Like, is it going to help you build your skills and experience so that you can come out of it better off? I recently heard a team member of mine describe her time with Beautycounter as being like a mini MBA. So that's really what I'm encouraging you to think about, is things where you're going to grow, make money quickly, and see if this is something that fits well for you. But you have to be smart about your decision into which industry to go into. I think those are really, really, really significant. I will say that having an online business where I can work from home has for the past 10 years I've been doing this, has been fantastic. And it was especially important during early days of pandemic when my husband had to close his practice for 10 weeks. We were really grateful for that my business continued to boom and bring in a great income. Now that my kids are are at home doing virtual school, I'm so grateful that I can be here. I can be here talking with you on these videos. I can be doing all parts of my business during their work times. And like today, I had to step out and teach a little bit on the periodic table and stuff. And that's just offered so many benefits for us that it's phenomenal. It's completely flexible work. It's meaningful. It's impactful. What I want to invite you to consider is that there's all different kinds of work. What I love about Beautycounter is that actually, I'm not going to tell you everything I love about Beautycounter. That's a really long discussion. But what I love about this business is that you can choose to just spend a half hour a day or an hour a day, and you have the potential for unlimited income. And it's time flexible. Super simple. It's like a business in a box. It's a really nice way to make additional income to replace full-time income. So as you're considering this, I just currently opening up my business a little bit and inviting people who want to be hobbyists and just like get a discount and share with a couple of friends. And I also want to invite people who are looking to be six-figure business builders and slowly build to that. So this business is open for all kinds of possibilities. And if you are at all curious, please reach out. It's a real simple conversation that we can have just to see if it's a good fit for you, a good fit for us. And I would just love to see more women take control of their time and their finances. I think it's more important now than ever. All right, take good care of yourselves.